Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you? It's nice to see you.
Thank you so much for coming on here with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
So, first of all, hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Very good. I'm so happy to
Awesome.
have Shalini.
Yes, totally. I want to welcome all of our listeners back to the Heal Yourself podcast with Michelle Moon and myself, DJ Silo. And today is a very exciting, special episode. This is our first episode with a guest. Um,
Yay.
and we have the honor, the pleasure, and the privilege of having the one and only Shalini Vadhera on the podcast today. For those who are just getting familiar with Shalini, she is a celebrity makeup artist, a wildly successful entrepreneur, a best-selling author with the book Passport to Beauty, and so much more. And she's now using her experience, her reach, and her resources to empower the next generation of women leaders. To me, Shalini, when I was doing research about you, I was like, wow, this woman is a force of nature. And it was clear that you are tapped into spirit at a deep level. So um, it's clear you've had quite the journey in becoming yourself so far and who you are today. And I'm so excited to meet you and just find out more about what makes you tick and what you're excited about. So please join Michelle and I in welcoming Shalini Vadhera to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to
Welcome.
be here. Thank you. And I'm really, really excited to meet you, DJ Michelle. I know you and I have connected in the past, but it's
Right.
always nice to meet like-minded people doing amazing things in the world. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'd like to start this podcast off with a brief guided meditation. Would you be down to join us in that?
I'm always down. So get down to it.
Awesome.
So we are very, very happy to have Shalini today with the Heal Yourself with Michelle and DJ Silo. So let's take a moment to bring our awareness and connect with ourselves through our breath. And feel the existence of your essence of life. And relax your shoulders and relax your neck. Relax your whole body and discover peace, joy, and happiness within you. As you breathe in and out, and discovering the beauty and the power of life. Let's be grateful and thankful for this moment that we feel that we are alive, we exist, and we evolve every single moment. And feel a connection with our heart center that has abundant love, abundant life energy to share with so many. And recognize who we are from deep level, beyond everything, beyond any condition. And from our lower abdomen, our body center, deeply breathe in and deep breath out and let go, empty everything. And again, deep breath in and out. And discover gratitude, appreciation about our life energy. And you can deliver any positive message to yourself 3 times. And if you don't know what to say, you can say, I love myself, I trust myself, I respect myself. And slowly coming out from your inner consciousness to your outer consciousness. Deep breath in and out. Again, deep breath in and out.
Thank you for that, Michelle.
Oh, welcome. My pleasure.
We need Michelle for this every single morning. Get our day started on the right foot.
Yeah, it's great how just like a little moment like that can really like shift.
That makes a big difference.
Energy, yeah. So, Shalini, I wanted to jump right in and ask you, like, when did it click for you that beauty is your passion? And I also wanted to ask, like, along with that, I've heard you talk about global beauty, and I just want to ask, like, what is global beauty to you?
Yeah, so I think for me, my fascination and enchantment with beauty started at a really young age. You know, I grew up in San Diego, but I was very fortunate enough to travel to visit my grandparents in Kenya and visit my other grandparents in India. And so we would, you know, we didn't have a ton of money growing up, but somehow my parents made the trips so amazingly special for us. And we'd fly Japan Airlines and Singapore Airlines. And if we were good kids on the flight, we'd get like a little prize at the layover. But I was more interested in what the flight attendants looked like. And to me, they were like these walking Barbie dolls. And I was so fascinated and just in awe of them. And I think growing up trying to, you know, navigate fitting into 2 cultures and also being bullied for looking different in a very blonde surf, you know, town that I grew up in. These women were really the epitome of confidence to me and strength. I mean, they walked with a lot of confidence and power. And so they were kind of my little shimmer of aspiration of, I hope one day I can get to that. And that really started an enchantment at a very young age. You know, as far as global beauty, you know, I had started my career as a makeup artist at 17 at the Clinique counter. You know, I just got a part-time job. I worked my way up to getting a fantastic break on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno that opened up the celebrity world. That got me on television. And it was actually, you know, one of those people that come into your life where you're like, wow, that was really mean. But then you're like, wow, I'm so grateful for you because you really made me think on my feet quickly. And I remember I was flying to New York on a pretty regular basis to go on the Today Show and the Early Show, and in true New York fashion, which coming from San Diego, we weren't used to that. We're used to tacos and let's go to the beach and how are you? You know, not like, hey, I'm good, you know. And the producer came up to me and she goes, why am I flying you out here first class and putting you up in a suite when anyone can talk about what you're talking about? And at that time we were talking about like, you know, from office to office party, how to look glamorous for the holidays. And right on my feet, I said, yeah, you're right. Wow, anyone could talk about this in beauty, but no one's talking about the fact that we are the greatest melting pot in the world and we're producing these new skin tones minute by minute, and nobody's really celebrating that. And, you know, 2, we always want to know why Indian women have this traffic stopping shiny hair and why Chinese women never seem to age. And Brazilian women have these amazing bodies, and it's not genetics. It's all these amazing secrets that have been passed down for centuries. And I was always the first one lined up for my grandmother's hot scalp massage, you know, hot oil scalp, because I knew not only was my hair going to look great, but I was never going to get a better scalp massage. And so I started talking a lot about some of the beauty rituals and secrets from around the world. And that's really what carved my distinct and unique voice in beauty, and really my, ignited more of my passion and purpose into celebrating diversity and just how beautiful the world is and all the gifts that it can bring us if we were just open enough to listen and learn.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So on like sort of the same side, but with spirit, like, have you always had sort of like a relationship with spirit? Has spirituality always been a part of your life, or is that something that sort of came in at some point? Or maybe it's changed over time,
I knew there was always something. I didn't know what it was. Maybe I was too young or not open enough or too scared, to realize it. I did know that there were times and moments in my life where I had experienced incredible spiritual feelings, in Hawaii and in certain areas of the world where I literally didn't want to speak for hours. I just had felt something so fleeting and so beautiful that it was overwhelming. But I think it wasn't until I moved to Los Angeles and I was really going through, just the trials and tribulations of being a female entrepreneur and a solo female founder, where I had no choice but to tune into the spiritual experiences that I was going through that were just so loud and in my face that if I didn't embrace it, I think it probably would have driven me crazy.
And I'm really fascinated, and this is like, I would love to hear both of your perspectives on this next piece, which is then the relationship between beauty and spiritual growth. Because maybe at first glance, some may think of beauty as just external, like looks, and spiritual growth is about like internal, like development. But I'm interested for both of you how those two things like can relate and power each other.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. For me, there is no outer beauty without the inner beauty. You can be a beautiful looking person, but be a horrible person on the inside. Make you a beautiful person. You could be an absolutely beautiful person and have horrible skin, but your beauty will still radiate through and through. And so I have always looked at beauty as a 360-degree holistic approach to living your best life. And I think now, being more tapped in with the spiritual side of my life and, really learning so much through that, I really feel that beauty is a universal language. When I was writing my book, it didn't matter if I was, in a slum or in a village where women had no rights and had no running water, no electricity, or if I was on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills speaking to a woman, every woman had the same need to look and feel beautiful. And it was a language that was spoken in whatever language globally. And when it came time to creating Ready, Set, Jet, which is my most recent brand, it's my third beauty brand, there was really no reason for me to put another lipstick on the market, or, I was creating brands for a lot of influencers and celebrities. And it was really time to use beauty as a vehicle for change. I mean, we know that everybody loves it. We know that it has such a profound effect on self-esteem, which is going to give you that inner beauty, which is going to give you the confidence. And I'm a true and firm believer that confident women can change the world. And so if I can play my part in providing that approach and outlook on what beauty can be and redefining what beauty is, then that's really where the spiritual side of beauty comes into the materialistic side of beauty, because we're using it for change and impact.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I contact Shalini, I know she is very deeply into spirituality, and she has her spiritual practice every day. So me, as a holistic healer over 22 years, we could have met in Sedona, but we just like missed the chance. But I'm very happy to connect with you with this Heal Yourself with Michelle, DJ Salo podcast. But anyway, over 22 years of my experience helping also a lot of celebrities, corporate leaders, like everybody, like all people. I help them finding their inner beauty, inner power. And when they find that connection from deep within, beyond what they do, beyond their capability or any condition, I see them really glow. And there's a confidence, there's a joy, and it's unchanging. It's always there. And when we create our life, every single moment with that connection, like nothing can scare us, and nothing can stop us. It just makes us really glow from within. And I see that that's really powerful. And when I looked at Shalini, I kind of meditated like, oh, what kind of conversation that I can have today. I know like the true power, like, oh, like how could like Shalini can become who she is now, even though there's so many like media exposures and so many articles, so many shows that she led. But I felt somehow she definitely had some like strong spiritual connection. And then that really made her glow and inspire so many. And then I saw she is founding the organization Beauty Power. What's the name? Beauty Power Living.
Actually, Michelle, that came directly from Sedona. I had gone through such a difficult time in my entrepreneurial, journey, so to speak. And so I remember very well being called to Sedona that weekend, and being asked to come now. And I thought I was going to pass. I'm like, yeah, there's something now. And then it was like, Sedona, I'm like, that's a flight. I can come now. And they're like, don't be ridiculous. And then I somehow talked my husband into driving. And he's like, you realize it's 10-hour drive to Sedona. Yeah. And I'm like, I feel compelled that we just have to drive. And on the drive there, our car was struck by lightning.
Oh.
And, I was holding my phone and it was plugged into the car, and I just got this hot acid burning feeling down.
Oh my gosh.
And when I arrived in Sedona, I actually went to meet with Ilchi Lee, and he looked at me and he said, that was for your brain. That was for you. And it was, it's like he knew, and he said, these are the 4 things I need you to do. The 5th thing, you'll know exactly what you need to do. It's your homework. And sure enough, I went and I went to Bell Rock Mountain. I did Courthouse Butte. I did everything that he told me to. And boy, did I really get knocked over the head with just the truths of my life, and why I was here, what I was supposed to be doing, how I was supposed to be. Really looking back at all of these things that I thought were such horrible failures, and really being grateful for those as my master teachers and lessons. And that's really when I realized on that last day in Sedona, I was like, I don't want any woman to go through what I went through with the, sexual harassment, bullying, the gender bias, the lack of resources. And so I decided to create a women's platform called Power Beauty Living, where it was mentorship for women by women in business. What are you doing for unmatched confidence, for unmatched leverage in the world? That's where the beauty comes in. And then what are you doing from a practice standpoint, that no matter what's going on out here, you are just solid on the inside? And I came up with that idea, and I came back to LA, and I was like, I'll throw a party, maybe we'll have 25 people come. We had 175 people show up. And within a year, the United Nations asked us to launch globally on the floor of the UN. And we actually brought in the Brain Institute to make all these diplomats heads tap, because we were doing it after lunch. And I'm like, I need to wake them up. How can we do this? And now what's happened with Power Beauty Living, I mean, it was so divinely aligned that some of the investors in Ready, Set, Jet came on board and funded it into a full nonprofit 501c3 to really extend the deep impact that we're doing in beauty. And we've spent so much time in the slums over the last few years, and just seen how not only beautiful these girls are, but how hungry they are for guidance, and to know that they have an opportunity to be anything other than a servant or married at 15 or trafficked. They are hungry to have their own identity, to have their career, to have the skills and the vocation. And that's really now where Power Beauty will go, and really helping them achieve their dreams. And again, really using beauty as that vehicle for change. So Power Beauty Living is very special to my heart. It really encompasses my 3 beliefs of, beauty, bliss, and balance. And I'm excited to bring this to the world in a much bigger way.
That's amazing.
Wow. Well, there is so much there. That's an incredible sort of ride that you just took us on. I love that you both have been touched by Sedona and experienced just like the power of that land. And I think it is so incredible, Shalini, that how you're able to use beauty, like you said, as a vehicle for change. You said earlier, beauty as the universal language. I never thought of that. That's so powerful as like a global sort of web and a way of communication. And it's so cool to hear about Power Beauty Living and how that is continuing to grow. So like when that started, or what, I'm trying to get a timeline here a little bit. Like, when did Power Beauty Living first come into the world?
2015. And then we launched 2016 at the United Nations. And then, while Power Beauty Living's been out there, we've done retreats, we've done all kinds of transformation events. We've done like the ultimate girls' night out cocktail night, where they have their beauty, bliss, or balance cocktail. They learn how to tap out their stress. They get great, mentorship from thought leaders. They get their makeup done. They get their henna tattoos. I mean, it's just like a really fun but very impactful evening. So that came out, and while I was doing that, then I launched my next brand, Passport to Beauty, based on my book, with a media deal, traveling all over the world. And I started creating brands for like Paramount Studios, Turner Classic Movies, the FabFitFuns of the world, celebrities and influencers. And then, as the universe and God and whoever spirit has it, I found out I was receiving the Mahatma Gandhi Award at the British House of Lords for my work in beauty and women empowerment. And that probably would never have happened without Power Beauty Living from Sedona. And that's really what put the impact into this third beauty brand, which I didn't anticipate launching. But we did launch Ready, Set, Jet. We are 95% female funded. We launched with a mission of leveling the playing field for women. A lot of women had never invested. A lot of women didn't know what investment was. And we did that so we could create impact across the board, no matter the socioeconomic status. And I think what surprised me was the messages after, women reaching out to me saying, because you allowed me to invest, I could use the title investor on my LinkedIn. And I was able to leave an abusive marriage. I was able to kickstart my career. I mean, things I had never thought about. And so, of course, the first product we launched was a baton. From a beauty perspective, DJ, you might not understand this, but it's a paid product, but it's also very symbolic in women passing the baton on to other women to really show women that when we come together, we rise together. So there is a big underlying meaning in creating a beauty baton, and we have a big pass the baton initiative, which goes right in with Power Beauty Living on the impact side.
That's the baton. It's like a multi-purpose. I don't know if it's 8-in-1 or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
I need to try those. Is it blush?
Build your own. Yeah, we'll have to get you guys some product. But more than that, from a spiritual and intentionally building of a brand standpoint that has impact, there's a bigger message behind this. It's not just your moisturizer, it's not just your lipstick, it's not just your highlighter. It's a tool for more women to realize that the more they are passing the baton on to another woman or an underserved community, the more that we are going to rise together because of that positivity.
Yes.
Wow, that is very powerful, actually. You deliver the message through the baton.
Yes. We need to help each other, and we need to celebrate each other and celebrate things that make us different. I mean, that's really the beauty of the world. That's what the world says.
that can be a really powerful healing for women when we share that, secrets and, helping each other to glow and share that culture together, you know.
Yeah,
That's very beautiful.
thank you. It is. It's a beautiful sisterhood. And of course, we
Mhm.
can't do this without the men, because the men are the ones that are going to help really push the message forth. We need the right men as well to
Mhm.
tell women that they have every opportunity in the world to thrive equally.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
hearing like, and I love you said sisterhood, because that's something I've talked to some of my women friends about, is like some female friends of mine that like are just starting to find sisterhood, and in this point in their lives, finding groups of women where they can have nights together and really get deep together about where they're at in their lives and share experiences, and just build each other up, and have safe space together. And same thing with me and my brothers. We're starting to find spaces where we can come together as men and be fully vulnerable, just honest with each other, and drop
Mhm.
the all the extra stuff, and yeah, just be together and support each other in that. And when we have those spaces, then we can also come together, all of us together, and build really amazing things, and a future that I'm excited about,
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
community. It's the power of community. It's the power of,
Yeah.
you know, healed people, healing people. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly. Literally, that's what I felt with all those years of practicing spirituality. You always try to connect that connection and essence. I feel that's the way how you heal others, especially like, giving power to ladies, all the sisters. So you probably have some like inspiring stories, like with the ladies who do not have confidence, do not want to show, do not want to, express their beauty, but how you help those ladies and glow. Do you have any stories that you would like to share?
Well, we could go into the naysayers over here, the ones that aren't the ones that aren't in the sisterhood, that are harder on women than men. My hope is they become enlightened that, the world is abundant and there is enough for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But there are just so many women that are struggling, and I think more so now after the pandemic than before, mental
Mm.
health,
Mm-hmm.
you know, depression. There's a huge, generation of women that are going into menopause,
Mm-hmm.
and having to deal with, like, how do we balance our hormones? These are not conversations that they're having, they have even a lot of resources for. And so, I think for me, when I'm dealing with women that don't have the confidence, it's one, really giving them the tools, of how do you believe in yourself? Let's focus on, sometimes I feel that women feel the things that make them different is the detriment. And what I always tell them is, the things that make you different is
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be celebrated
Yeah.
and what needs to be embraced, because that, in a very crowded world, is what's going to make you stand out. And for
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
me, I know I've cracked the code, so to speak, when I finally see the smile. And, if you can get them to smile from within, and you can get them to feel good, even if it's just putting a little bit of lipstick on, that's why there's something called the lipstick effect. In a recession, you don't really see the numbers go down in beauty or in alcohol, right? Because they're like
Mm.
two things that aren't super expensive that will give you that feel good, moment. And
Right.
so I think for me, it's just little things that you can do to show women on a
Mm.
daily basis. Even, I just did a video on intentional beauty, and
Mm-hmm.
making,
Hmm.
while you're putting your makeup on, not just like being completely checked out, but like making it intentional self-care time, where
Mm.
you're able to, look in the mirror, put your makeup on, and be like, okay, let me just check in with myself. Am I hitting my goals? Am I happy? Do I need to spend a little bit of time on a walk today? Those things. And I think with everything moving so fast, we
Hmm.
forget that we do need to be mindful, and we do need to have those intentional moments in our life where we're checking in. And I think for me
Mm.
personally, and what I've seen with a lot of women around the world, the ones that can't seem to grasp the happiness or their center are the ones that rarely do the check-in with self and spend time with self. And I always tell women, become your best friend first.
Mm.
And then, you'll see everything else kind of, have a beautiful ripple effect from that, outside of you.
That is
Awesome.
very beautiful.
Yeah, and I love like the idea of weaving moments of intentionality and awareness into our lives rather than like, oh, it's another space I have to build. Like, no, if I can weave that into me putting my makeup on or washing my face or something, it's like I really like that. And it made me think too. You're talking about becoming, some the combination of the fast pace of life now and phones and algorithms, uh, combined with some people not taking that time to be with themselves. I think I'll just speak for myself. When I started spending more time with myself, I was like, whoa, there's a lot there. There's a lot of different emotions and a lot of different thoughts. So I think that can also be overwhelming. Sometimes it felt, and still I think sometimes feels overwhelming to me, and I have to like be like, okay, no, it's okay, you can sit with it and be with it. But I think some people, they might feel that and then be like, whoa, and then there's kind of like now I'm just going to go right back to my phone or right back to being productive or something. Yeah, so I don't know.
So as a woman perspective, there was a time that some reason I had a belief that I'm not supposed to try too hard to make myself beautiful. I don't know where that came from. I'm being a, holistic healer, being a master for a long period of time, like over two decades. I feel like I shouldn't like pull attention with different, purpose or different reason. So like putting lipstick and some makeup on, I didn't have that kind of education for my own self. But just a little bit of touch, like blush or lipstick. Now I really understand. It could be a very little thing, but it is something that really means a lot more than just putting a lipstick on. Like for ladies who do not really take good care of themselves and then do not have confidence, they may not even care about how they, like how they take care of themselves, not to show others, but to show for themselves and feel good about themselves and love themselves when they look at the mirror. So today when I prepare our podcast, I put some lipstick on. I wanted to kind of make some different change to give honor and showing some love to myself. So I know that's a lot more than just lipstick. It's very
Yeah, no,
intentional.
I love that because I think as women, and then women from certain cultures, we've been taught not to stand out, don't rock the boat, don't have an opinion, don't use your voice, don't draw too much attention to you. So,
Right.
that's how we've been raised in some of the cultural messaging that's been put forth. And I know I've been raised that way. And, but at the same time, I do it for myself first. And that's what I tell a lot of women, like do little things that make you feel good, even if it's just going and buying like pink bedding, like pink sheets and candles, or using a lotion that smells so good that when you put it on, it makes you stop and like take a moment to, breathe it in and just have that little moment of I'm doing something nice for myself. And I think that self-care and self-esteem are so important in every aspect of life that we walk, that if there's little things that we can do on a day-to-day basis to help us out, beauty definitely fits in there.
Yes, I believe that.
It's also for, there's a lot of us facing fear, a lot of
Right.
us are trying to figure out how do we go for that next level? How do we, makeup's also a fun little game of armor, where you can put your armor on for the day and know that like you've got this space now between you and the world. And, there's so many different ways to play with beauty in ways that are going to serve you.
Wow, that's very powerful interpretation how you describe it. I can really resonate with that.
Yeah, so it can be as powerful as a protective barrier between you and the world, or you and the goals, or you and going into your first networking event and feeling nervous and scared, So there's a lot of really wonderful ways to use beauty to serve you and to serve
That's
others.
wonderful. So Shalini, so this podcast, our name is Heal Yourself with Michelle and DJ Silo. And then we had 2 episodes together, and mainly I share about what's healing, the truth about healing. The healing is not about just healing symptoms like physically or emotionally. The meaning of healing is to connect with our true nature and true self. And once we connect with that essence of life, then the natural healing just happens, naturally, all levels. So that was the message that we've been sharing. So like inviting you to this channel, Heal Yourself. I know you definitely have some healing message. And then I know you are still on the journey of healing yourself and evolving and expanding even more without stopping. So I wanted to kind of check in with you. What are I know you're practicing and you're meditating. What are the healing do you need for yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm always on a healing journey. So
I know you too.
I'm like constantly in that, and always feeling I need to heal something. So, for me, I think nature is the best medicine, first off. So one of the first things I do, especially when I'm really just feeling like I'm going to drive myself crazy, is getting out in nature. And I do like to do walking meditation. I don't know if you do a lot of walking meditation, but I love walking meditation, even down to chakras, where I'll see red and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to find something that's red and it's going to balance this chakra. And then I'm going to look for something purple. And without fail, as soon as I say that, like a purple flower shows up, or a red truck drives by, and it's kind of that affirmation of like, okay, this is working. And for me, I think everything goes back to being mindful. I know in my day, I can work from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. without stopping. And if I don't mindfully say, okay, you need to go and do something for you, and you need to stop for a few minutes, and just take the time. For me, that time is usually spent on a walk in nature. I love tapping. Tapping is one of my favorite things. And I also love, mindfully sweeping off energy that doesn't serve me. And my other most favorite thing to do is really taking a bath with Epsom salts and, different types of teas. I was really fortunate to spend time with the Tibetan monks. And in Tibet, healing tea baths are very big in their practice. So in one of my brands, we had created this healing tea bath, and now we're bringing it into Ready Set Jet, where you can actually sip it and soak in it. But taking the time to use different teas and salts and essential oils that that you're doing something nice for your body, and you're giving yourself a time out. I found it really interesting when I was researching Dutch beauty secrets that when they take a bath, they take it on Sunday, and it's not just a bath, it's a bathing ritual. So they will take the time to not only make the waters beautiful, but they'll take the time to mask their hair, mask their face, and make it an entire ritual for self. And so wherever you can steal those moments, I do believe are all part of healing.
Right. I believe that. The Korean spa.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite in the entire world.
The Korean spa has literally a tea bag spa. Have you done it? It's a ritual, literally.
I haven't done that one. I always go and scrub. I get my phenomenal.
Oh, you did?
I get all the rooms. I get my center. It's my favorite thing to do in the entire world is go to Korean spa.
Wonderful. That's how they keep their beauty.
I know. And then you see the grandmas with the moms and the daughters all in there together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that you used the word ritual there. I think that is the key word, even when you're talking about taking that moment while putting on makeup. It's like how we create these rituals in our lives that can charge us back up and just by giving us a moment to connect with ourselves.
There's so many times for us to check in with ourselves, but it really takes being mindful to do so, because it is so easy to look at the clock and be like, wow, how is it 7 o'clock? Where did the day go? And I'm so busy, and I haven't done anything for myself. And I can definitely be really bad at that, by the way. I'll be very honest in saying that I can get so into my work that all of a sudden it's like 9 p.m. and I'm like, the whole day went by. So even visualizing, intentional good intentions put in a glass of water and drinking those intentions. And I mean, the littlest things that you can do anywhere at any time to create this like self-care ritual for yourself.
I'll just find myself nowadays, I'll just take a moment just to hold my heart and my lower abdomen and just take a moment, and my body will sort of go boom. I'm like, thank you. Like it reacts to it. I'm just like, because I didn't even realize I'm up here just like executing, doing things, like making all these maneuvers in the world. And then it's like, just like, oh, hi, man. Like, hello. Like saying hi to my body. And it's wild how it responds. Like, I can feel tension sort of like melt just a little bit. So
yeah, even with Michelle's meditation, just to remind yourself to like relax your shoulders, relax your, even relaxing your scalp. You don't realize how much tense your head is.
Wow.
Just mindfully telling your everything to just chill out, so to speak.
We're chilling.
But you don't realize how much you're holding on until you're like, okay, relax your jaw area, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize how clenched my jaw's been all day. So there is so many fantastic healing modalities out there, and I feel that if you can do the little things on a day-to-day basis that are easy within your grasp and that you can be mindful of, the healing process becomes a lot easier versus being overwhelming.
Yeah.
And Shalini, I do want to ask too, like, you've been on this mission to help empower young women leaders for years now. And have you seen the sort of landscape of women in business change? And how do you feel about it now? And what's positive and what needs some like attention there?
Yeah, it's been really remarkable to see that when I started my first brand, there was really no resources for women. There was no mentorship, really. You were lucky if you could find, a woman mentor that didn't think you were going to compete with her. What I've seen over the last few years is really beautiful in a sense that women are like, enough is enough. Like, we're going to start creating more funding opportunities for women. We're going to actually fund more women businesses, because at the end of the day, they're 67% more successful than male-run business. I mean, there's all these data that shows you why women should be counted as equal. And, in that sense, I feel really just so happy to see that there is this like underlying swell that's happening for women's rights, equality, coming together as tribes, creating resources. We were fortunate enough, like I said, for Ready, Set, Jet to raise funding from 95% women, and that too over Zoom. I mean, we met such incredible women all over the world that the impact and the message was, so resonant to them as well, and wanting to pay it forward to the next woman, that we were able to bring in some of the most stellar, phenomenal women I've ever met. And, this brand is what opened up those relationships to me. So I feel that we've made huge, progress. And I feel like there's still an enormous amount of progress we need to make. I believe it's 2% of funding goes to women in business, 1% if you're a minority. So that's not a lot, considering there's another 99% out there going to men. I feel that more women need to really understand, again, from a universal abundance perspective, that there is enough for all of us, and that we really do create an incredible tide when we come together and we work together and we support each other. So my hope is that, we'll continue to see more and more women become confident and independent and helping other women. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I'm definitely on a mission to spread that message and give women the resources and the tools that they need in order to do that.
Awesome. And from what the stories that you share with us, it does seem to be a growing wave. I know that there's people maybe that aren't ready to catch that wave, but there is like this wave that's growing, and that it's so exciting to hear about. And I've seen a lot, just from what I take in and the people in my life, there's different, female empowerment, and sisterhood and alliances coming together. But it's so awesome to talk to you and to hear about it from like a financial perspective also, and really an entrepreneurship perspective. Because I haven't seen an example of that, or been able to meet someone who is embodying that and is like a full example of it. So
I feel like a warrior sometimes because
That's
that's
Shalini.
right. That's right. Yeah.
That's the energy.
I wasn't born to be a warrior, but I guess in this lifetime I was, given that responsibility because it's been an uphill battle, and I guess every battle brings, great satisfaction in being able to, change the dynamics and the paradigm. But it's not easy when you're trying to change, cultural stereotypes and, these types of ways and thoughts that have been, things the way they've been done forever, and to come in and be like, we do it differently. I mean, I'm still usually the only woman in a board or on a fund,
this.
always. And so
Yeah.
I'd like to see more women in that room with me.
I can see it too, because I mean, we are like sort of healing out of a patriarchal society, but there have been matriarchal societies, and that is like in our DNA also. So I wonder how it'll all sort of continue to unfold.
I know, aren't we in the time of the divine feminine?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe so too.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some good change.
Yeah, and even like, it brings, when you guys are talking about like, or when you were talking about like Dutch beauty secrets and bathing like that, there's also like the feminine that's rising within people in male bodies, like, and like the self-care aspect, and for people in male bodies has been a huge like growing industry. So not like male and female in gender, but there is something feminine about like really treating myself and like pampering myself and taking that time to like, I'm not going to just take a shower. I'm going to like set up a bath and like relax in it. And I think that's important, from where I'm standing, for men to explore and expand their feminine side, while also exploring and expanding their like honorable masculine side. So
I agree 110%. Well, first of all, I'm so happy to hear that you bathe. More than just taking a bath, but you make it a little bit more.
yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
But I don't necessarily even think of it as a feminine thing. Everything for me goes back to self-care, and
Right.
self-care affects your mental health. That affects your ability to go out there and kick, some serious butt in the world in whatever you're doing. But it also gives you the confidence because you're taking care of yourself. I mean, we live in a world where we can't really, we want people to take care of us, but at the end of the day, it's really up to us to take care of us first. And that's why I love what you guys do. And Michelle, especially, the modalities that you have on, healing, and even the meditation today, just those 3 little lines of, I love myself, I trust myself, I respect myself. We forget to even have those conversations with ourselves, and just those 3 little things are just like, oh yeah,
Right.
That's really powerful.
So I'm very, very happy to have you at our Heal Yourself with Michelle and DJ Silo. I wanted to kind of ask you, what are the vision that you see, like 5 years, 10 years down the road, the foundation and all the work that you're working on?
Gosh, that's a great question. Doing the 1, 3, and 5 exercise in my head last night. When the door is okay, I'm going to open door year 1, year 3, year 5. I just see a world of, women having more opportunities, having more equal footing. My hope is that we break the cycle of generational poverty by skilling, training a lot of women that don't have those resources and tools, and just creating a movement. For me, it's like I think I was saying to somebody, I'm like, I want, a group of women marching in that, are marching into their future, and this girl goes, get the movement, let's create an entire army. And I'm like, I would love that. I would love to just continue to see, and people embracing diversity and being inclusive and really being able to celebrate the fact that everyone has something special to offer in the world, no matter where they're from, no matter, I always say every woman should have the opportunity to jet set, no matter her socioeconomic status. And so being able to share the world and bring the world to these women is really exciting. And I hope that, in 5 years, we can say that we've impacted at least 10 million women globally.
That's amazing. So the last message maybe you can share to our audience. This is very growing phase, this podcast, but I thought it is very meaningful to have you as our first guest speaker, because you're not just talking about outside beauty, but you believe in inside beauty, glow from within. So what could be your message to our audience?
Well, first off, I'm really honored to be your first guest. So sincerely, I thank you for that. Second, so many of the meditation, self-care techniques and modalities that you share are so close to my heart. I know they've changed my life tremendously. And, and I have been raised with Indian yoga and all kinds of, from all over the world. But really being able to tap in and take that time for yourself has been just unbelievably life-changing for me. And so I'm excited to be able to tune in and listen to more of your podcasts and actually to learn from you guys. I'm really, really excited. And again, I'm very grateful for being your first guest. Thank you so very much.
It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
No, real quick, Shalini, just, is there anywhere that we can tell our listeners to find you at? What's the best place to follow along?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can definitely find me on Instagram. I'm very active there. So at Shalini Vadhera. I'm sure you guys can spell out my name because it's a good it's a long one. And really social media is really the best place to find me. You can, look at the products at readysetjetofficial.com, at Power Beauty Living on Instagram. And, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on DM. And I'm happy to connect with you guys.
Awesome.
Wonderful.